Well, 30 minutes ago, I had the privilege of interviewing Edouard Meylan, and now I have with me Monsieur, I call him Monsieur because he's the boss of the company, the CEO one and only because he has a great reputation in the industry as a maverick. We've heard of all the interesting things, interesting placements that Edouard has been doing, and I've seen it and witnessed it myself. It's always out of the box, totally. So I present to you Edouard Meylan. Edouard, nice to see you.
Good to see you, thank you.
Jeremy, I asked your brother actually the interesting question, did he know my surname? And he said that he would pass on that. I said, yeah, I laughed because many people actually do that. They see the surname, but they don't actually know how to pronounce it, so they rather not pronounce it. So just to help you out on this one,
down?
Oh my goodness.
I was there.
He shot.
I cheated.
He cheated, but he shot me in the foot. Dang. I was just about, oh my goodness. Edouard, that was good. That was good. I say cheers on that. Cheers. Here we drink cheers, even though it's water. Wow. Edouard, when did you take over this company?
March. Well, we bought it in October 2012, so 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
And I became CEO in March 2013.
Wow. So much has happened. I mean, so much has happened. The industry is talking Moser. I mean, let me just correct myself. What is the full title of the company?
H. Moser and C. So H. Moser and Company.
Yes, H. Moser and Company, because a lot of people just like to say Moser.
Yeah, we say Moser.
Do you say it as well?
Well, I try to fight and keep the real name in all conversations, but yeah.
It's difficult.
It's the last cause, so Moser is fine.
Why don't you cut the H sometimes, officially?
No, it's our history. Okay. I don't want to do that. I saw a lot of brands going changing even our logo, it's old script and
yes,
old school,
exactly.
Kind of
the old school, yes.
And all the agencies come, oh, well, we have great ideas, we should change your logo, and that's something we're fighting against. Every agency coming to me and asking to change their logo, I never work with them.
Out of the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Even if the other pitch is good.
They haven't understood what we stand for.
I agree with you 100%. So we're talking H, Moser, and C. So what are the great, well, you're proud of all the achievements, but what are the standout moments in those 10 years that you can tell us, share with us?
What's up? I mean, there's tons of milestones, product-wise, communication-wise. But I think in a way, when you turn around a company like this one, there's those moments where you feel that, and that's very personal, but there are those moments where you feel that you have found something.
Correct.
And for me, for example, 2015, when we launched the first Funky Blue perpetual calendar, which was basically based on a simple model, well, a complication from before, but a simple model that existed before my time. And just by changing the strap and the dial, suddenly this watch was completely different. And for me, it was really this moment where I felt, okay, there's a space for Moser by being this very traditional, very elegant brand, but at the same time bringing something funky. We call that color the Funky Blue just for that. And then everything was easier because any development from that point onwards was based on this particular model. So a lot of time they ask me, what's your favorite watch? I mean, I love a lot of the Moser watches, obviously, but this one is special to me because that's the moment where I said, I know what I'm going to do.
That was the click. That was
2 years into the project, though.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
There's a little bit of searching and trying to figure out, but that was a good moment.
I remember it well. But then thereafter, several people actually sort of towed your line and started, I wouldn't say copying, the industry doesn't like to hear the word copying, but we suddenly started seeing, you got it, exactly, you got the word. A lot of people started getting inspired with colors.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I mean, there are trends. I love to believe that we are trendsetters. And if you compare it, if you look at the watch industry the way we would look at fashion, I think brands like Moser and all the independents here are kind of the haute couture, and haute couture are the trendsetters, whereas those other bigger brands are more like the prêt-à-porter, and we like to believe that we are creating the trend. So we need to try things, we need to experiment, and take risks because those big brands don't dare taking risks, and I think that's what makes us very successful nowadays.
Fantastic. And what are you wearing today, by the way?
Well, since my brother was wearing my watch, I'm wearing the watch we launched at the Watches and Wonders this year.
Can I see the watch?
Yeah, it's
that's a beautiful watch.
Yeah, it's our first skeleton tourbillon with a cylindrical tourbillon in the Pioneer case. So it's a very I mean, I don't know if you remember what we launched in Watches and Wonders. We had an Endeavor, very classic, elegant, with an enamel dial. So way one side of the spectrum for Moser. Yeah. And then we have the Pioneer, which is kind of our everyday watch, but here is a very spectacular movement, very three-dimensional. It's basically the next generation of movements after the collaboration we had with MBNF really? 2 or 3 years ago, where we started working with the third dimension. There we went a notch further in playing with the third dimension because of the skeleton and also the three-dimensional dial, and it's spectacular. And it's 120 meter water resistant. You can have a rubber strap like I have right now. You can have steel bracelet. You can have a croco. So very versatile.
And what's the retail value of that?
Retail value is way above the retail price, which is 80. No, it's 89,000.
That's my fault. Okay, right.
89,000.
89. So what would be the retail value then?
No idea. We just started delivering them, so for a lot of people, way more. But no, I think it's an amazing watch at a good price.
Okay, fantastic. You know, when I was speaking with your brother, you know, we both live in Dubai, which is, we're both very passionate about Dubai. We haven't actually had dinner in Dubai or anything yet. We're still planning on that.
Not enough restaurants there? Or?
Something like that. Yeah, you got it, exactly. So we're actually waiting for you to come to Dubai.
I'm there on
he told me that until Edouard comes, you know, because he's going to pay the bill.
All right.
Okay, so I said, that's a good idea.
Sounds like a fancy restaurant.
Well, expensive restaurant. I don't know about fancy, it's just expensive. So how do you view Dubai? You know, I know that you look after the business globally, but what concentrations are you putting into the Middle East? I keep saying Dubai, but the GCC countries, Middle East, what
well, you see, we have
aspirations?
I think the fact that my brother is based there, we have a subsidiary there. It's the second after Hong Kong that we opened, even before New York. So now we have 4 subsidiaries, even if we consider China, and Dubai was the second one, with my brother being based there. So it shows how much focus we put on the region. I think it's a region that we early on understood what Moser stood for, and started really believing in the brand, with huge support from our partners there, like Sediki, who really contributed a lot to the development of the brand. Not only in the region, I think globally, and we have a lot of respect for the Sediki family.
Super.
So, I mean, I'm there on a regular basis. We've been 6 times at the Dubai Watch Week, which is an amazing event.
Yes, I agree.
So, yeah, I think we're planning to open boutiques, one of the first boutiques after Hong Kong and China. So, yeah, a lot of focus there.
I heard boutiques. So, will you be opening boutiques in the region?
Well, I think in the Middle East, one would already. I mean, we're going to have a very nice representation at with Project 8 in Bahrain. There's some changes there, and you will see soon. It's not going to be a full boutique, but it's going to look pretty cool for Moser. And but in Dubai, yes, we're looking at a boutique, but you need to find the right space. It has to be the right time. We need to have enough products, and so it's more like an ongoing project at the moment. But we have the ambition to open a boutique at Dubai Mall.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Moving on to a sort of like a personal trait, you know, I asked your brother, I said, you know, you two guys, you work together. How well do you work together? That's evident. But working together every day, do you ever have any clashes? Do you ever have any moments where it becomes tense between you and him?
Well, not a lot. I mean, we have honest discussions, so that usually helps get rid of those tensions. I mean, there's been a couple of times where we disagreed on certain decisions, but not to the point where, you know, we had any fight. I think the only reason we would fight would be things that are not linked to the business, because I think from a business standpoint, we have aligned interests, we have very different responsibilities and qualities. So, I mean, we talk every day together. Like even here, like we wake up, we meet in the morning and go running for an hour, and we talk about the business for an hour, right? So I think that helps being really aligned, and therefore there's very, very little that we don't know about what's happening, and therefore we take the decisions together if needed.
That's fantastic. You said qualities. What are his qualities? What qualities do you find, 3, 4 qualities that you find admirable in your brother?
Well, I think he's not scared of giving me honest feedback, and I think that's important when you're in positions like we are, to be transparent, direct, and constructive. Because giving feedback is one thing; being constructive when you give your feedback is even more important. And when you have a team, sometimes they're scared of giving you feedback because they're like, "Oh, he's the boss," you know. And I think I'm very lucky to have my brother, to have this person who is my peer and a pretty similar level and can give feedback, and I think it's very constructive there. I think he's a great negotiator, way better than me, and that's really one of his qualities, going into all the negotiations we have on a business standpoint, where I sometimes like, now we need to agree, and he's like, no, there's more in there, and I think we have interesting discussions. And I learned a lot from him. He's a very social person. I'm much less. He's like, he develops great relationships, and I think that's why we work well together, because we don't play on the same turf. I'm happy to go and do my part of the work and make sure that we do as much as possible at the manufacturer and develop the brand, etc. Okay. And having my brother in the market, it's, for a lot of people, it's feeling like they have a direct connection to the owners, because he's an equal owner like me. So.
Fantastic. So growing up as young boys into young men, how was your relationship? How did
very different. We were much more confrontation. We both don't like to lose, and we like the same kind of sports, and every time we would play, it would be like
it was really
it would be fights. Yeah.
It was
we would play like football and 1-against-1, and I hated losing, so I would like punch him to make sure he's on the ground so I can score another goal, and then he would cheat on me, and then it was like it was fun.
You've now harnessed all that energy and all that strength into this positive business.
Yeah,
you're both
I think
building.
if we play football against each other, it would still be the same.
Oh my goodness!
Somebody would end up injured, but when it comes to business, again, because we have aligned interests, it's in our own benefit to be successful, and the success of one is the success of the other. And that's why I think when a lot of people like credit me as like, oh, what you've done with Moser, I mean, we've done it together, and it's really a team or a family project. And there's a lot of people. And I think, and I hear a little bit the speech of people changing. They realize how much Bertrand has contributed to this project.
That's fantastic. You mentioned family here. How are your parents? How are they doing?
They're good.
I know they retired and
they retired for a while. But
I met your father, and how is he doing? How's he getting on?
Well, he's going to be here in a couple of hours. He's,
really?
He's passionate about products. He loves to see the positive development of the brand. I believe he's quite proud of where we are now, and probably wouldn't have expected so much success for Moser. It took a little bit more time in the beginning, but to be where we are today and what he can see in terms of results, etc., is beyond what he was expecting. So I think he's very happy, and there was a period of stress in the beginning because the project was bigger than what we anticipated. Mm-hmm. So for him, it was like, oh my God, what did we get into? And then, of course, now it's a different story. So I'm happy that, at this age, he's 77, he can look at it and be like, wow, it was a great project, working together as a family, building something that is ours. That was his biggest frustration, as he worked for a brand before. It was not his. It was like working for others, which in many cases are not don't recognize your value, your added value, and just treat you like a soldier. And I think the fact that it's our project is something that we really appreciate.
He must be so proud of his sons, and well, I know you have a sister as well. I will get the moment to ask him that question, but I'm pretty sure that he's very proud of his family. And your sister, she's not in the business, but I know that she's very instrumental in the bond between the families.
Yeah, I think she's the one who makes the link. She's closer to our parents because she lives here. I live in Zurich. She lives here where my parents, close to Geneva, and my parents still live in the Vallée de Joux, and Bertrand is in Dubai, so we're much further away, but she keeps the family together. And she's an equal shareholder, so it's my brother, my sister, myself, and she took, even though she's not in the operation, she took as much risk as we did.
Fantastic, fantastic. No, this has been an absolute great conversation, but before we close, you know that we are launching GMT GCC. And we're launching
congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, yes. We're launching that in October with the World Cup edition.
Wow.
Yeah, the World Cup, it's a bumper edition, and that will launch, and we're very excited by that. We're excited that we're going to have articles about Moser, and especially the new pieces inside. We're excited about the collaboration we're going to have with H. Moser and C, because it's a brand and a company and people that I find dear to my heart. And what I do in business is everything dear to my heart. It's not money. Money doesn't drive me. What drives me is passion. And I believe that, if you do that well, whatever you need out of that will always come. That's my first driving force. So I like to work with people who have the same kind of power and passion like I get from talking to you. and seeing all the wonderful things that you've created over these years. So in closing, I'd just like you to send a message to the